I'm not dancing again, I'm so sorry. Maybe later. Sorry, I'm a millennial, so I brought my computer instead of a book. But also, this next thing I'll be reading about is sort of millennial related, I guess. So last time I was here, I read Riverdale fan fiction. But recently, I was at my friend's house and I came across the OC, season 1 through 4. And so my roommates and I have all been watching the OC a lot recently. Whenever we're all off together, we watch the OC. So I have some juicy OC fan fiction. And if you're not familiar with the OC, it's about a whole bunch of Californians who are way too well off and la-di-da-di-da, and people die and car crashes happen and Imogen Heap plays, and it's a good time. So here we go. What's your favorite book? Seth asked one morning while lounging lazily at the foot of Ryan's bed in the pool house, while the blonde was typing away on the computer, something or other about an extension on a physics paper he needed to finish by tomorrow at the latest. Seth hadn't really listened to him, not because he didn't care, but because his mind, homework, wasn't such a big deal. And contrary to popular belief, he had inherited the quick comprehension skills that his dad's Jewish side of the family and school, and it was essentially a breeze. Staring at the back of Ryan's neck, Seth contemplated the quiet silence followed by the seemingly inquisitive question. Glancing hence over at the mini fridge, he slid off the bed to get a soda and then teasingly brought it to the spot of choice on Ryan's shoulder. He got a desired response of a shudder and enjoyed a quiet leisure watching goosebumps rise on the blonde's strong and toned arms, which stopped flexing as his typing ceased. Who flexes their arms while they type? Other than me. Ryan swiveled on the chair and came face to face with Seth's belt. Admiring the simple silver accessory, he blushed profusely as he silently imagined reaching for the buckle and leaving Seth in a more vulnerable state than ever. This fueled Ryan's frustration with his best friend even more, and he gave Seth a fixed stare. What exactly are you doing here on a quiet Sunday mid-morning, irritating the hell out of me? Shouldn't you be gallivanting with Summer somewhere? Or how about a comic book meeting with Zach? I do not remember Zach ever being in the OC, but am I wrong? Or was it? No? Okay, fuck it. Aren't you ever observant one? What could possibly ever make me want you to leave me alone as I have a 10-page physics paper due tomorrow? Sarcasm. Ryan replied as much dry sarcasm as possible, and Seth took a step back mentally, not physically, and he began to notice small changes in Ryan's demeanor in the nearness. He was extremely tense, concealing himself from Seth, as he sank back into the cool leather computer chair. Usually, Ryan would have got up by this time if something had been bothering him. But the Chino-born wasn't moving an inch. Seth noticed again the layer of goosebumps on his best friend's arms, and for some unknown reason, his hand reached out and he ran his index finger down Ryan's arm. Ryan caught his breath and fought against closing his eyes, shuddering with pleasure as Seth placed his whole hand on his shoulder. On his shoulder. He didn't even have time to mumble an apology before Ryan caught his wrist. It gave new meaning as he was caught red-handed. Seth's mouth twitched into a nervous smile, or more like a mortifying freeze frame. Barely, he was able to comprehend that Ryan began drawing lazy circles with his thumb on Seth's hand. The silence was deafening, and the air slowly thickened with lust. With the obvious attraction admitted in the context now established, both men were bewildered on what to do next. Seth did a double take as Ryan arose slowly from his seating position and came face to face, still not breaking physical contact, and Seth daringly stepped forward, closing the narrow gap between the contagiously contaminated air between them, and placed a light kiss on Ryan's neck. He smiled to himself as he noticed a trail of goosebumps following his lips as they ascended Ryan's throat, tracing the Adam's apple and falling deeper into the curve of his neck, now nipping a bit more aggressively at the tender skin there. Ryan's eyes, clouded with desire, outlined visually Seth's t-shirt clad back, and his hands, in no fault of his own, traced the hem of the Polo logo and slipped tentatively inside. Yum. To this point, the only one with goosebumps was Ryan, but as soon as his hands encountered Seth's embellished skin, he shuddered with pleasure, now noticeably on his skin. "You have to stop doing that," Ryan moaned in his ear while pressing his palms flat against Seth's back and massaging the pliable skin offered to him. "I will if you will," Seth murmured against his neck. That's not how Seth would murmur, but that's okay. Having no intention of stopping, his hands were now making work of Ryan's t-shirt, and successfully so, as he made the brief separation from his counterpart's neck to rid him of the useless sheep. Yeah, I know, right? Countless party. Yikes. Oh god, my computer's about to fall asleep. Ryan took this opportunity to pull Seth in first for an actual kiss, and how sweet it was. Seth, surprisingly, knew exactly what he was doing, running his tongue against Ryan's lower lip teasingly, primed for entrance, and then succeeding. "Ryan," Seth breathed between kisses and gestured towards the bed, as the blonde pushed him a little too zealously towards the queen size, not king, queen. And all this time they meant for each other. Taking the liberty of ridding himself of, I got ahead of myself there, of ridding himself of his t-shirt, Seth took a moment of time in which Ryan relaxed a little, not allowing his responsible side to get in the middle of the most uplifting experience he'd had in months. By the way, this is the best part of this fan fiction. "By the way," the blonde whispered against Seth's lips, his hands already on his chest, "my favorite book is War and Peace." Who would have thought? Seth chuckled momentarily, like everybody in this room did, allowing a second to fly by without a sarcastic comment. "Well, we're not at war anymore." He reached to Ryan's belt and... Thank you! Also, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Peah Emm for a good time. DM me if you want. It's okay. I'll take yours.